Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios and brought to you, as always, by Export Ultra, the beer fair here. This is the Agenda Podcast for Friday, the 4th of April.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Happy Friday, Matt Heath.
Yo.
Now listen, I'm just going to play some audio for you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, in Super Rugby, I'm moving my allegiance 100% to the Blues.
Oh,
Okay.
Did I say that?
Yeah, well,
Was I drinking?
potentially you might have been drinking, but...
Was that geo-blocked out of Otago?
Yeah, look, potentially.
Can we
but,
geo-block that out of Otago?
what do you say about allegations that you've switched from the Blues back to the Highlanders?
I'm back to the Highlanders.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
I'm a fly-by-nighter. The Blues are having quite an incredibly bad season, aren't they?
Yeah, they've been ravaged by injury and underperformance. And the most amusing part, I'd say, would if they had a.
Did you put that away with a calendar and invite to rub my nose in it?
No, not really. We've just got quite a large file on you of contradictory claims.
Yeah.
No, that's
that I hate me that said that.
Yeah, that was
It's the smug way I say it as well.
Yeah,
well,
that's when you
like anyone gives a shit what I think.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple of them because that was the one where we told you we geo-blocked it when we had it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and you were going out to the Highlanders country saying, I'm a Highlanders through and through, and then you did a Blues one. And in reality, we can't geo-block anything. They'll win everywhere. So
that's a failure of a duty of care to tell one of your employees that you're geo-blocking them, and that when you're not. So all those contradictory statements I've made over the years have been going everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. Is that up there with telling someone they're live on air when they're not, when they are? You're not live on air. Is that?
Who would do that?
Could you?
Who would do that?
Could you potentially take us to court under some false pretenses?
I'm embargoed legally to even discuss what you're alluding to there. In fact, even alluding to the fact that I'm not allowed to even talk about it as a breach of something.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one that's allowed to talk about it, fellas.
No,
yeah.
no,
we're not allowed.
No.
I don't think anyone's allowed to talk about it while we're around.
Yeah, I
think it's so big that we're not even supposed to talk about it privately.
I think within this building we're in, there's no way anyone can talk about it.
Okay.
So
this will be triggering for listeners. They've got no idea. Thankfully, what we're talking about, because if they did,
you'd be in trouble.
Then we would have said too much, and we would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it costs a lot. Anyway, Matt, I'm glad.
We're still probably fucked.
Oh yeah,
from what we've said.
I think
but we don't have time to delay it.
The insinuation is there. No, we don't.
Can we geo-block that
out of Christchurch? Yeah.
We might have to just geo-block. Does this go to China or somewhere? Just geo-block that, but just to China.
Okay.
Because I don't care over there.
Wait, to China or minus China?
Only in China.
So this only goes to China.
I think legally we have to.
I'm glad you're in today, Matt Heath, because there's a bit of a hot debate going on, and those of you who follow MLB or baseball, and I'm a fly-by-nighter, I kind of dip in and out, but the big controversy is around the Yankees because the MLB season started a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
so the Dodgers played the Cubs in Tokyo a couple of weeks out.
Yeah.
So
okay.
They're up to about game 8 today.
Oh yeah, but it's full on, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're weekends. So anyway, the Yankees have almost broke the internet last week because they've got a new bat design, and this surprised me because I presumed that there was bat innovation going on all the time in baseball, but there's not, and they've called it the Torpedo Bat.
Yeah.
And what they've done is the rules within baseball is the bats must be made of one piece of solid wood and no more than 2.61 inches in diameter at their thickest part and not to exceed 42 inches in length.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've moved the thickest part from the end into the meat of the bat.
Yeah. And they do it for specific at bats where where you're more likely to hit it as a swinger.
Yeah. And
so it's been happening in cricket for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In cricket, that it's been changing the meat
it's
of
actually
the bat all the time.
not that new doing this in baseball, but it's just that the Yankees have really leant into it.
Yeah, and one particular score was 20 runs to 9.
Yeah.
So they're hitting so many home runs and so many base hits that now they potentially could break the record for a season's worth of runs by about 1,000.
Everyone hears this from the Yankees, though. Baseball has a way of writing these kind of situations. But what I would say is that won't save the Yankees if they have anything like the fifth innings they had in the World Series, winning a game against the Dodgers in the 2024 World Series. You would need a torpedo, hyper SpaceX bat to have won that game with how shit your defense is, the Yankees.
So you're not worried about this torpedo bat? You want it banned?
Well, it's funny because there's all these claims of teams destroying baseball at the moment. People are saying the Dodgers are destroying baseball by just having the most amazing team that's ever been put together.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers because that's the team I care about, first time ever have won the first 7 games of a season in a row in the entire franchise history. Because it's so hard to win baseball games that you don't win 7 in a row very often. They've won the first 7. So it's quite good as a Dodgers fan for people to be saying the Yankees are destroying the game rather than sort of taking the focus on the Dodgers destroying the game by buying all the best players.
Well, speaking of the Dodgers, because they, this all...
They had the aluminium bats at one point.
I did a bit of research on it and about what the big deal of the torpedo bat is, which I don't think it's a big deal, but digging deeper is the amount of analytics and technology that goes in behind baseball teams now. And the Dodgers, they went from a team of 6 basically analysts who just analyze everything. They now have 35.
Yeah, that's why the torpedo bat, when they've tried it before, hasn't really worked, because they didn't have the stats exactly where someone hits the ball on the bat exactly like they do now. They know exactly where someone's most likely to hit it.
And it's custom per player, isn't it? So you can get a player will go in and get analysed. And they'll come out with a different bat to the person to the right of them.
Exactly.
Their analytics team is so hardcore that they got data scientists and engineers building predictive models. So they've got biomechanic analysts that use motion capture and whatever this is, force plate data to assess a player's mechanics. So machine learning experts can forecast injuries and project player performance, and a team tactical analysts help the coaching staff build game models for matchups, and basically they model an entire game.
Yeah, if you're gonna pay someone $750 million, then it makes sense to get the best out of them. But you always see that people come to the Dodgers and they suddenly are much better than they were at other teams.
Yeah,
because the system is so good there. But this stuff blows up in Doc Roberts' face all the time, though. This is what Dodgers fans say, because they're so math-focused that sometimes you suddenly don't have anyone on second base because they've done the stats that the ball, this guy will never hit it there, and then it goes right up the middle, and they get a double, and you're like, why wasn't anyone anywhere near second base? It's because, they've done the stats, and that's not going to happen. And you're like, well, if he was just in the place he normally would be, then he would have fielded that ball and we wouldn't have lost that game.
And it does rely on a lot of things to go exactly how they predict. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't exactly predict a pitcher's going to be in the exact same place.
Well, I mean, you can just look at a catcher. Yeah. Every pitch he's holding his glove where he wants the ball to go.
Yeah.
And he's always moving it.
Yeah.
So you can go, we've got this, we've done all the stats and we need to be, up and inside on this batsman. He hates it. But then the pitcher just hangs it out over in the middle of the plate and gets smoked,
Yeah. Americans are great though, aren't they? Because they want all their leagues to look exactly like they did in about 1910.
Yeah.
And if they look any different to what they did 100 years ago, they're just going to make sure that they get rid of that part of the game. And I think the only reason that this will go, this bat, is if the aesthetic of the game is changed from the shape of the bat. And if it looks enough like baseball, they'll probably just leave it.
Because the thing in baseball is, in cricket, we've really moved towards accentuating, basically sixes as being the most important thing in the game. Yeah. When actually the most important thing in the game is close games.
Yeah.
That's close games make a game exciting, right? And that's why Super Rugby this year has been better. All the changes in the speed and all that kind of stuff is great.
Yeah.
But so many of the games have been a conversion difference. I think it's over half the game.
Well, I mean, the poor Highlanders, the biggest they've lost by is 8 points. You know what I mean? That's been the points differential.
That's why in my opinion, that's one of the main reasons why Super Rugby is more exciting this year. And so T20 cricket isn't more exciting because someone hits 46s. It's if it has to be one in the last 3 balls of the game.
If you hit 46s each.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Baseball's a pretty exciting game. So I don't know. If everyone gets them, and then it's just the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy though how much they're spending on that. The data and analysts, and like you're saying, if you're spending $1 billion on a player, you've got to make sure he's performing. So
it's basically you've got a
NASA. back there.
You've basically got an F-13 fighter jet, F-18 fighter jet.
Yeah.
You're spending that kind of money, so you're going to have a lot of analytics on it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at F1. They spend so much on their their cars.
The data.
Data.
It's funny watching that. And like we're getting in a bit of heat for talking motorsport, but I just quite.
No, you are.
I am. You look at the when they go back our house, and there's always people sitting in front of the screens.
What
What the fuck are they looking at? I know they're looking at tyre pressure and temperature and brake temperature and all that.
Christian Horner, and you're still sitting at an accumulating bar stool looking at what looks like because I used to have a job at Sky. That reminds me of I used to have a job at Sky back in the day before there was a lot of digitising when it came to sport. So I would cut the Super Rugby highlights between two tapes before it went on to the real editor.
Yeah.
Who would then, because he didn't want to cut, so I'd cut the show down just to the tries.
Just the moments.
Tape to tape. But it was exactly the same. I'd be sitting on a stool looking at this little monitor, turning these two buttons. I always look at that and go, you fucking do anything? Because I wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah. I always think that with Christian Horner as well, when in the Drive to Survive series, when they show a pit stop happening in the Red Bull camp, he gets his stopwatch out and then starts timing how long. Yeah. It's like, mate,
it's like those people that go to cricket and score.
Well, you don't need to do that. Yeah. You've got a machine that'll do that for you. You've got a screen with so many data points telling you how quick they're in and out. You don't need to be sitting there with a stopwatch starting and stopping.
Well, that guy from McLaren, he does the same.
Oh, Zach Brown, is it?
Zach Brown, yeah. So, like, there was all this hoo-ha that rain was coming, and they showed him at his deck, and he leaned back and puts his hand out, feeling for the rain. I was like, dude,
you've got the most high-tech analytics. And then they always make the wrong decision. They always panic.
Yeah, stick him on
box.
What is box anyway?
Yeah, why can't they say pit?
Yeah, is it some box?
I mean, you know what a box is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been out at night sometimes just walking around going box.
That's a great idea if your mate's really wasted. Box. Hey, box, and we'll get you into the corner. We fill you full of water, give you a pizza.
I think that's
a really funny idea.
I think I have seen you kind of walk up and down George Street shouting box.
But what to further to your point, G Lane, you've got Mashy out on the town.
Yep.
Like at a party.
Yeah.
We're all pretty steamed, and you see him sort of. He's sliding around the track a little bit.
Box.
You bring him in. Bring him in. You give him a glass of water. You slap him on the face. You wake him up.
Yeah.
You tie his shoelaces and you send him back out into the party.
Or you retire him from the race. Or
fresh tread. Get out there.
Or you put. I mean, the dangerous thing is just put some slicks on him. Slip a eckie in there and just send him on his way. That's the equivalent of the slicks. It's just to maybe dose them up a bit more and then send him on. Box.
Also,
so box focused.
I'm going to question, the direct comms between team and driver.
Yeah,
because all they say is keep pushing, keep pushing,
push now,
push, keep
now.
pushing. Is that all you're going to say? I mean, do you think this guy doesn't keep pushing?
Yeah,
push, keep pushing.
You can push now.
Time to push. Time to push.
I think there is something around you can't push the car to the complete edge because you fuck all the tyres and everything. But it says there's an
there are moments when you can push.
Yeah. And then when they go push, you go. Yeah. But for me, I'd be just foot down the whole time. I am pushing.
You'd be terrible. You would be a terrible F1 driver. Because you're so petty and vindictive.
I'd be running.
There'd be a slight between your teammate over lunch, like he'd get ahead of you, and you remember like that time you got angry at Kane Williamson for jumping ahead of you on the toaster queue.
Yeah, well, he did at the breakfast buffet.
Yeah, he's an international cricketer, but you're so petty that you wanted revenge.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, at the buffet this morning back at McLaren.
Lando Norris, he got ahead of me.
So you just target him. You target him.
So I let his tyres down.
Just ram him. Knock him off the road right at the start.
That's why G Lane was so stoked with the Liam Lawson finger. Yeah, because it was the closest thing that G Lane's got to a better Tuesday morning here at the ACC. He called his name.
Box. I think there's an opportunity there in setting up a mobile Friday night pit stop crew. Yeah. So you could call in and you could say, I need the pit crew here, and you pull up in your van. Box. He jumps in the back of the van. You just go around town. Send him on his way.
I'm there with the stopwatch.
He's shat his pants.
Yeah, we got everything there. The equivalent of shitting your pants is when they break the nose. The nose, remember they pull the nose off and they get another nose out. On? That's just new pants. That's just new underpants. Boom, like that.
I hate when they put the new nose on because they never seem to attach it enough. For my liking.
Yeah, it just seems
they
like
just slot it on like a piece of Lego.
It looks like an Allen key at the top, and then they're away. So, I mean, what's the equivalent of a retirement then? Because obviously, when you retire the car from the race, obviously there's some severe engine issues. That's the same. Probably translates across into a night out.
Yeah,
the engine blows.
Well, hang on. Are you going to be there, G Lane, just telling the punter that we're going to be retiring the vehicle?
Yeah. We're going to have to retire you, mate.
Well, basically that means you see when the car's smashed into the wall, they bring out the really flashed cranes. The way they carry this most shiny, well painted cranes when they put them out. But it's basically putting someone on an Uber, really, isn't it?
It is. That's the equivalent of an Uber.
Sorry, Mesh. Retire. Yeah. And that just means you've got to go home.
And when you end up vomiting or something, it's just debris on the track. So we just got to get that debris off.
Do we have a safety car that you send it?
Yeah. There's definitely a safety car just to make
sure.
So
a safety car, you see one of your friends making a total peen of himself in front of a group of girls, and you send in a safety car.
Well, the equivalent of a safety car is a mate that's not quite as hammered.
Yeah.
You send him in just to run interference with everyone.
Yeah.
Just to slow them down, just to stop any more accidents occurring. So that's why you send in your mates. That's the equivalent of a safety car.
You see your mate getting in an Uber with a girl who's not his partner.
Yeah.
And you send in a...
Oh, yeah, you got to send... Oh, you
send a safety...
You send a safety car and to slow that down for sure.
Box.
Speaking of which...
Do you reckon you can handle being the pit crew guy? I know I'd fuck up the tyres. I know I would fuck it up every time.
You know what? I reckon I'd have a great first couple of races.
Yeah.
Because I'll be so focused and I'll be like, fuck yeah, I'm nailing this. I'll get relaxed.
You get lazy.
I'll go out one night, probably in the Vegas Grand Prix, get a bit hammered, get a bit cocksure that I could do this slightly hungover, and then fuck it up. And fuck it up hard.
What's the biggest fuck up you ever seen? There was that time, what team was it where he came in and they hadn't got the tyres off the rack? And there were just no tyres there.
And the other time where
that was a big night out for the pit crew, that one.
Or they called them through and they double stacked them, and the guy was waiting behind while they had to do it. He was like, what are you doing? They were both in there. A V8 one. They just didn't put the nut on properly, and he drove out, and his wheel just came off, flew off. That's a fuck up.
Fuck. Imagine the feeling.
Well.
Your job is to put the tyre on.
Imagine that feeling when you go, it's driving out, you go, I didn't get the bolt, holding the bolt.
No, there'd be a split second that that person is the only person that knows as well. You'd be like, oh God, something's about to happen. Something, but I didn't get that nut on properly.
It happened in the supercars last year. And I remember watching it, and they did a slow-mo of the guy. And the guy did it, and he went zit, and then they did a slow-mo, and he kind of looked up and went, and looked off, and looked around at his mates, and he was like, you could tell he was so guilty. I think it might have been toe
Didn't that happen twice to Haas, 2 cars in a row?
Where they didn't put the tyre on properly?
It sounds like something that would happen to Haas.
I'd say their crew have just having a good time. They're just having a good time, because there's the other guy. The most dangerous job, I think, is the guy who has the jack at the front, because he has to rely, first of all, on it stopping and you're lifting it, but also he has to get the fuck out of the way when they drop the hammer to get out of there.
Yeah, and sometimes that you get fucked up because the driver comes in too deep. They say he's coming deep.
Yeah, clips you and
yeah. And you're backed up with your...
That's right, there's a guy going ass over tit in front of the vehicle. I've seen that a couple of times.
They must have steel caps on. Otherwise, they've
got their humiliating helmets on.
Yeah.
I think it's embarrassing that they wear helmets like they're real
drivers.
drivers.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, because if you get hit by a car...
They're pretending to be drivers.
I'd rather have a helmet on.
That's what it feels
What are you suggesting, that they just wear like rugby headgear or something?
It's no heat, like caps.
Oh, you can't, because...
They should dress up like 1950s service station attendants.
Oh, yeah.
With a white chamois.
Is it because the dream's still alive? Is that why?
Nah.
Do they think that they might be one day in a Formula One car?
No, their union protested. We want to dress up like the driver, just in case someone thinks we're a driver when we're walking off to the loos, and some lady walks past and goes, "Are you a driver?" Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like all the guys going to the golf, dressed like they're about to play golf. When they go and watch. So you see all the masters and everything. They're up and they're all full tightless pants, tightless shoes.
Imagine you going along to the cricket and just padded up, ready to bat.
Well, it's like my mate.
Just sitting down holding your bat.
My mate will go out to town after a Blues rugby game, just wearing a Blues polo, just to make it look like maybe there's a chance that he's in the Blues squad, and then he can run a bit of
Is he in decent condition?
No.
Listen, I admit we used to do that when the first Defence of the Americas Cup.
God.
The first Defence of the Americas Cup down at the Viaduct. I was living with Willie Erickson at the time, a couple of single men in their mid-20s, and we cottoned on to the fact that there was a lot of hotties kind of mincing around what was quite new viaduct then. The viaduct had just been renovated for the defence of the America's Cup. And we went and got ourselves some merch from, I think it was Prada or some Italian team, and we would just mince around the viaduct.
You didn't do the accents, did you?
No, we said that we're Kiwis employed by... Didn't go, hello, yeah. It was a real good...
Give me, could I export, how you say, export ultra?
Yeah.
How you say?
It actually worked pretty well. You know, if you buy the full kit...
When you say pretty well...
Wow, it's conversation starters.
Yeah, for sure.
Got your foot in the door. I mean, look...
you have to come clean with that, or else
eventually we did.
That's what Rod Stewart used to go the full hog. He bought a pilot's uniform and he'd go and hang out at the airport.
Oh, that's quite good.
And meet women.
That's awesome that he's gone, you know what? Being Rod Stewart's not enough.
Oh, this was pre-success.
Right, okay. That does make more sense.
I love that at the height of his career realised that a pilot still
pulls more than him.
Pulls more than Rod Stewart.
Okay.
People have used the foreign card because we used to work with a colleague who she said she met an analyst from the Italian football team.
Oh, yes.
And our suspicions was...
Did you say an analyst?
Analyst.
Okay.
Yes. And our suspicions was the analyst potentially lived out East Auckland.
By the way, who's falling for that? I mean,
were they getting together in cars and car parks and stuff?
Yeah, they were.
She did.
They were. I mean, look, a guy, an Italian here, he's an analyst. Okay, mate.
Yeah. What's the biggest lie?
Sure.
What's the biggest lie you've told then, Finn?
My God.
Is he called Finn now?
Oh, Mash.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
Mash on the breakfast show.
Yeah, so you should rename him. Mate, there's been a lot of work on the Mash brand, hasn't there?
But it's a dead shaming him, though.
Yeah, what do you want to be called?
I don't give a shit. I feel grateful to be here.
Yeah,
Finn,
I'm thinking
Mash.
we can make a more inappropriate one up for him.
No, let's not do that.
Mash is quite wholesome.
No, I take it back. If there's one
What's
thing
the biggest lie you've told?
To
get a result.
To get a result. To get a result sexually.
You can come to that conclusion. If
I was single.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of early teens.
Early teens?
Not early teens, late
Jesus.
teens.
Early teens is
No, sorry.
Jeez,
11.
Sorry.
Jeez, North Canterbury, you get things underway early.
No, I don't know. Oh, I've definitely lied about where I'm staying.
What about your profession?
No, not my profession.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've definitely told people that I remember early days that I told people that I was a radio host.
I went on tour.
I was just a glorified phones answerer.
I went on tour with a mate who basically told everyone he was...
I don't know if you get much action for being a radio host, though. Not in my experience.
Not as much as I expected. I should be dressing up as a pilot.
So it's not quite pilot or F1 driver.
No, it definitely isn't.
Does pilot get some action? I reckon if like a fighter pilot would, but not just a commercial pilot.
Wow, it worked for Rod Stewart. Mind you,
that's true.
People kind of seem to like Rod Stewart anyway. He's kind of a good-looking guy, isn't he?
Yeah, it's true. I forgot what I was going to say, actually.
I think we're talking about the biggest lies you've told. I mean, yours is going to be bad, so I wouldn't even bother.
Oh, yeah, no.
We already got ourselves in legal trouble.
Yeah.
I mind you, we are geo-blocking this to China, so I guess you can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, because of that, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with a bit of cricket action. Last game of the summer. Rightio, cricket. Matt Heath and Finn, cricket is still going.
What? It's autumnal. There were brown leaves on the field in Hamilton.
Yeah, there was a lot of, those big oak tree leaves?
Yeah.
Not those little ones. Just substantial ones.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It was like it's beautiful browns and yellows of autumn blowing over the field.
So the 5th of April, this is the latest game I've ever commentated. Yeah. It's the final ODI versus Pakistan. And I must admit, I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative about cricket, but it's been really tough to get into this series, given we've absolutely pumped them. And you've got to beat the team that's in front of you. Yep. And they have, and they've blooded some new young players, which is amazing. But it's really, really hard to switch from getting into NRL rugby, and then they return from the Champions League, and it's Pakistan again, and they send a pretty average team.
Was there any blowback at all? They're putting in a really, really good batsman to replace one that couldn't bat at all?
We discussed this yesterday, and because they hammered them by so much,
No one cared. But the
No one
bigger
cared.
issue is that you tried to cheat.
Yeah. And the thing is,
Whether they won or not is irrelevant to what they did.
but we have to say it's up to the match referee. Did a bit of research on it. They take the player to the match referee and say, this guy's doodled. Look at him, he's concussed. And the player's like, ugh. And then they go,
Which, by the way, Harris Ralph was doing
Yeah.
when he was walking
He
off
was
the
like,
field. He was pretending to be way more concussed than what he was.
Can strategically faking an HIA would be
it's easily doable.
Yeah.
Because I say to
Very
you,
doable, yeah.
who's the Prime Minister of New Zealand?
Alan Clark
What day is it?
today.
What'd you have for breakfast?
This
Spag bowl.
Okay, we've
Yeah,
got
this
yeah,
guy's
we've got
fucked.
an
This
HIA.
guy's
This guy's
fucked.
get him. See, like, you just have to kind of stutter through the answers and you're off. But they have to go to the match referee, and then the team suggests a like for like. So it has
Right.
to be a like for like.
Yeah, but that was not like for like. For a
100%
start,
it was
his
not a like
high
for
score
like.
was 40,
Yeah.
as opposed to a guy that was worse better than you and Chatfield.
So what we came to the conclusion that Jeff Crow, who was the match referee, the game was over. He was like,
Yeah.
I don't, who the fuck you put with whoever you
Because
want
we'd
out
already
there.
had all those fucking stops. He was like, let's
Yeah.
just get it done.
Yeah.
Give Babar another bet for all I give a shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what does it fucking matter?
So, but yeah, no one's really discussed it. So we'll see that. Tomorrow's the last game, Bay Oval, 11 a.m. The last ODI, I believe the weather's going to clear. There's a bit of a...
Sometimes I reckon, because that last game at the end of it was so boring because it didn't matter. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just think sometimes you've got to have a duty of care to put on fixtures that grow the game. They don't suck the life out of the game. Just because you can put on a fixture,
Yeah.
you shouldn't. And that's why these new moves to make games mean something are quite good. Because
Yeah.
if there was something in it
Agreed.
for the future, then maybe. But
We had a lot of dead
you're just
rubbers.
going, Pakistan don't seem to really care. It's
Yeah.
middle of winter.
A lot of dead rubbers this summer. A lot of dead rubbers.
It feels like we take one step forward, two step
Yeah.
back when it comes to NZ cricket.
It's hard to sell. It's
fixtures,
been
eh?
hard to sell that one.
Yep.
Oh, well.
But if you do want to spend a Saturday sitting around having a few beers in the sun, listening to the ACC, we're on iHeartradio, live and free. Tomorrow we'll
gonna be
there.
awesome. We love it.
Thanks to Rosine and Max Raft. I'm sure we'll go down.
We delete that shit we were saying before running it out.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, we're still doing that game tomorrow,
yeah,
are we?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
I mean, we could. I mean, I quite enjoyed the last game.
I enjoyed it.
Diving deep into our superhero powers.
It's been a great summer of cricket, fellas, now I think about
Yeah,
it.
that's been awesome.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And
One
what a
of the best
pleasure
summers.
and what an absolute treat to have cricket at this time of year.
Absolutely.
Have it all year round. What give a shit.
But like right now, can we get Bangladesh over here for 5 ODIs? 5 ODIs in June.
Wow, we're playing Australia in October in 3 T20s. That's going to be interesting.
They'll all be rained out, let's be honest.
October.
Okay.
Anyway, hey, there's a new sport that I just noticed online, competed to by a bunch of breweries. It's Keg Curling.
Oh wow!
I love
instead,
this.
So instead of like the usual marble, or granite, stone they send down kegs instead.
What are you sending it on?
On the ice.
On the ice.
So you're just sliding
Full
the kegs.
kegs?
Full kegs.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should do this, by
we're,
the way.
we're thinking, we're thinking maybe we head down to Paradise Ice down at West Auckland, and maybe just having our own kind of keg curling comp.
Do you have the sweepers?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are they called?
I don't know.
Sweepers, I think.
Humiliators.
Wounders?
Woman, yeah.
Woman.
Wounders?
Is that what you said?
Wounders.
Who said that? Was that Joe?
It was Joe that said that.
Joe.
That's what Joe calls woman.
Yeah.
I call woman my equals.
I mean, what a great
Shame on you,
situation
Joe.
Joe is in. He gets to sit there and just throw
Shame on you.
misogynistic.
Yeah.
That's something you'd say, actually, G Lane.
Actually, G Lane calls woman as entertainer.
Let's not.
Terrible misogynist.
Let's not go down this road. You spend a good 2 hours defaming me.
How was I to know you were listening?
That was I to
In my
know.
defence, we didn't know that you'd be listening.
You would do, but we would have thought you'd be listening to females sing
For you.
for you.
Well,
Anyway.
admittedly, Dua Lipa, she sang for me on Tuesday night.
Did you
Just for
go?
you.
Eh?
Did you go?
I went along. Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right,
I took my daughter.
You do like
took my
woman
daughter.
singing for you.
Yeah, I stood
Yeah.
at the front just yelling.
Are you sure your daughter was there?
You said your daughter was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's come back to this keg curling because I think we should do that
Yeah.
at some point.
I like how it would be harder because like it would take a bit of energy to have it down,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
it would. I think you've got to shorten the cord a little bit.
And does it have to stay upright?
yeah, it's got to stay upright. Well, what else could you curl though? That's nice and that you could biff down. It would skim across the ice quite nicely.
I mean, you can put anything across ice.
Well, that needs to kind of be like a.
Why don't we do
It needs to be quite heavy.
What, people?
Why don't we do people? I've always wanted this. People would be great.
So you got someone, they have to sort of get in the fetal position on their back.
Yes, perfect.
And they can do a bit of a wiggle to try and change their direction. But you have to throw a person down there. And it has to be someone that doesn't know they're going to be thrown down there.
Oh, yeah, you just got to pick them out of the crowd,
Yeah.
roll them in tinfoil, and then just send them down. We'll give that a go.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm that.
We'll give that a go. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but we've got a bit of an omnibus of Yours Please. We've got 6 of them to get through, so we'll be back with Yours Please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Rightio, first one, Yours Please.
Firstly, I'd just like to say welcome, Mashy, to the podcast.
Thanks,
it's
mate.
nice to have you, mate. I met you in person at Dunedin Bearfest quite early in the show, so you definitely weren't a disgrace yet. Quite a nice guy, actually. Anyway,
Surprising.
with G Lane being welcomed back to the Cricket Awards, does that mean he might feature again on ACC Does Game of Two Halves? Well, he's never actually featured, but yeah, anyway.
Oh,
You on the comeback, G Lane? Hooroo.
Oh, thanks for the message,
listen,
mate.
so the Cricket Awards, yes, admittedly, was it 10 years ago?
12 of them.
That's where the
Yeah, wasn't it?
saying Mike Lane is a disgrace comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that was. There's been a mixture of me not being welcome and me a self-imposed exile due to the shame involved with what I did 12 years ago.
Well, there's allegations that they extended an olive branch to you, G
I
Lane, and
wasn't
said
ready.
you can make up for what you did previous years.
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
Because one of your crimes was, like, didn't you inflict a lot of damage on some cardboard cutouts of some cricket players?
Yeah.
What did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was,
right.
no,
Okay.
it was Cricket Alley, and they had this installation with palm trees from the West Indies, and there was white picket fences, and there was pot plants and ferns, and
You remember it
and
so
like
well.
cricket bats and balls, and I remember just getting in amongst it, just fucking destroying it, and just climbing a palm tree and it falling over, and
Were you a special guest of Daniel Vittori that day?
No, I wasn't, but he was heavily involved in what happened.
Oh, really? So, because he said you were a disgrace, was he also a disgrace?
Oh yeah, like I said, he mistook a cloakroom for a urinal.
Easy to do.
Yeah, well, which is easily doable. But it was just a powder keg that night because you had the likes of Southey and you had the likes of Vittori and
Yeah, here we go. Bring some other names under the bus with you.
Quite a
Yep.
few other hand grenades there. But obviously
Old school.
that wasn't their first rodeo in terms of the awards, whereas it was for me.
And also, they're international cricketers that kind of people are stoked that they're there.
And also it was their night.
Yeah.
So
it's not really up to you
wasn't about
to
me.
climb a palm tree and
Yeah.
it's not up to you to fell ceremonial palm trees.
No. And, like 12 years ago, I mean, Laura was there. She would have been quite young then. She would have been
Well,
just
what
new
does
on the
that have to
scene.
do
What's it
with
got to do with anything?
Well, she put me in the taxi.
Oh,
So
right.
between
well,
her,
she's 36
her-
now, so she would have been 22.
Yeah, so between her and very, very mature of her, and shows how wasted I was. Her and James Ware, who was the commercial manager for New Zealand cricket at the time.
This is one of those stories I'm not sure if you want to tell, but okay.
And no, I'm very thankful for James. I sent him a note the next day saying thanks for putting me in the taxi, and he said, "No worries, you're a disgrace."
What is it about booze that makes you want to destroy your life and other things?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't destroy my life. I destroyed the installation, but I was very
Reputation.
easily egged on. This is my problem.
Yeah, you are.
So very easily led, and
You've got a rubber arm and a rubber moral compass.
yeah, and then I've got friends, so-called friends, who know how to use that weapon,
Yeah, we do.
and they weaponize it and
Yeah.
they send it off,
Yeah, we enjoy it.
and
Yeah.
and then they sit back. And
Yeah.
Vittori, having grown up with him, he
And
knew how to
then we
weaponize me.
feel better about ourselves. Whilst enjoying
Yeah.
what you do, we then the next day try and hide in the under the cover of G Lane's behaviour.
Yeah.
Spot on, Matty, because there's no better feeling, G Lane, than waking up the following morning with a couple of demons and going, you know what? At least I didn't have the most embarrassing night.
Well, yeah, it's a bit like the Radio Awards last year when I woke up on the couch in the studio.
That's right. People
remember
rely
that.
on you to have the worst
Yeah.
night so we can all feel good about ourselves.
Your eyes were open when you were asleep. That was the weird bit. Because I
Yeah.
watched you sleep for a long time.
Yeah, like
Didn't we
a-
live stream it?
Yeah, after
Oh, that's right.
I had that's because I woke up. I had 2 podcasts to record, and then I fell in the position I did the podcast. I fell asleep.
You know you've got good friends when they find you in that position and their first instinct is not to go and get you a Powerade or ring your wife and say you're okay. It's for to get Joe Jorian to set up a live stream put it out on social media.
Yeah, that was awesome. Anyway, on to the second one, game of two halves. Well, look, that's the longest story. I don't know if you're familiar with the hand job gate. But apparently Sky don't like hand jobs, so throw it out there. That's why their share price is down.
They need you on there to say something a bit more racy. It's very tame at the moment.
I know. Bring back the handies. Bring back the hand jobs. No, the hand job gate. That when I mentioned that a physio looked like she was giving an unorthodox treatment to a groin injury, which is something we've said just about to every physio that goes on and rubs someone's groin. Just so happened that this was a femur. They didn't like that. So
No.
I think that's massively sexist of them.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Okay, next one, yours, please.
Yeah, g'day boys. Just thinking, could you do a potty where it's G Lane, Manai and Mashi? Mashi could be the strawberry, G Lane the vanilla, and Manai the chocolate, of course.
Neapolitan.
And could you just title it Neapolitan? Yeah, just thought of it. Don't know why. Hooroo.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a
That's
moment
good.
of genius.
You know what? Neapolitan is such an underrated ice cream because on
That's where we're going with this.
Monday night, I had several children over at my house, and one of the parents said, "I'll go get some ice cream," and he goes, I'm going to get vanilla," and of course half the room were like, "Yeah, yeah," and then half the room were like, "I want chocolate," and then Steve turned around and goes, "I'll get Neapolitan," and the room went.
Oh, and then he backed up against the window.
And then and then he backed up against the window, and
He went outside, knocked on the window, and pulling a Neapolitan. And yelled, "Fuck you, kids! You're not getting shit."
a little bit of shit.
A little bit of shit.
Anyway, so what was the most eaten one? Was it vanilla or chocolate or strawberry?
Well, no. What I did do is I dragged the scooper across all three.
Nice.
So you get a bit of everything, and that's what a Neapolitan is. A bit of
Who
everything.
asks kids
It's a bit of everything.
Who asks kids what ice cream they want? You get what you get, and you don't get upset.
They're spoiled, aren't they? I know. Kids these days. Next one. We've got 6. Next one, yours, please.
Hey lads, love your work. Just on the concussion protocol for cricket and getting smacked in the shiner, isn't that the same as retired hurt? You get hit in the leg, you break your leg, you break a finger, you go off, you're retired hurt. Tough shit, see you later, see you next time. Wouldn't it be the same for the concussion protocol? Surely. Anyway, love yous, fuck yous.
Now this,
it's an interesting one.
It's weird. It's for some reason concussion is a different category than a pulled hamstring.
They don't know what they're doing because they're trying to cover their ass for some kind of potential lawsuits in the future. And I think I was saying this ridiculous situation in league where you send someone off for a concussion test, but you leave the guy that took his head off on because it's only a penalty. There's all these crazy outcomes that are happening at the moment.
Yeah, but cricket, of course, it was sad. Philip Hughes, he got hit in the back of the head and unfortunately died. But I don't think there was a concussion issue in cricket. There's a bit of a safety if you're hit in the head, and
you're wearing a freaking helmet,
and they've mitigated that with the flaps around the back there to avoid people getting hit in the back of the head. But I don't think it's an ongoing concussion issue, is it?
Well, you're wearing a helmet.
Yeah. So
I think if they're going to have HIAs, they should ban helmets.
You definitely need an HIA if you're going to hit in the head with that.
Yeah,
you're full you and
so you can have one or the other.
Yeah.
Either helmets, and then there's no HIA, or no helmets, and you can have your HIA.
Remember the days when you had a runner, and Inzamam or Hark would just go and he'd like score one run, pretending like he'd pulled his hamstring, and they'd bring a runner out for him.
It annoys me that they do that in baseball. They have a designated runner every now and then. It seems, so you got this Bombalatti, and then suddenly Usain Bolt comes out. And you're like, okay.
Who's never played a fixture in his life before.
That is interesting that you can HIA is, I suppose it's not an injury though. It's like it's caused by
I hadn't thought about
a bowler hitting you as opposed to you tweaking a knee or a groin or something.
So is it seen in a way as your fault when you get injured?
Yeah, whereas a concussion,
you've got a weak Achilles.
Yeah, but the other way, it's been inflicted by someone else.
Yeah.
I guess is the difference between that. Anyway,
I don't know.
Anyway, okay, next one, yours, please.
G'day, mate. So there's this great New Zealander over in America, Cole Davies, and he's racing in the Supercross for Team Yamaha. absolute good bastard, fucking killing it. And it's quite funny, he's over there plugging the absolute fuck out of Whittaker's chocolate. Great New Zealander, and fuck North Canterbury.
Cole Davis. Okay, there you go. We'll have to
Carl
look him
Davies.
up. We'll have to look him up in our Motorsport Thursdays catch-up around the world. Motorsport Thursdays.
That's right, I'm concerned about that. Matty, yesterday on the show we were talking about it at length. There's been some, splashback or kickback. Feedback.
Around our motorsport knowledge.
And usually we like to have a bit of a closed door policy when it comes to negative feedback, but for some reason we've opened up the doors.
If you've got negative feedback, we don't want to hear it.
Correct.
I do.
You want to hear it?
I don't.
It makes for good banter on social because I love going back on them.
But this I think we needed to hear, and I think what we decided in the NG Lane was that we were going to designate about 10 to 15 minutes on every Thursday podcast.
We're going to go around the grounds because there's a lot of Kiwis doing a lot of good in motorsport. You're looking at IndyCar, you look at NASCAR, you look at Formula One. It's just around the grounds. This is how Scotty McLaughlin's doing. This is how the Gisberger's doing. This is how Scott Dixon's doing.
But I don't think any takes are required, are they? Have we been asked? You're going to look for some takes?
What, do you think Dixon sabotaged Liam?
Do you think he did that?
Lawson because he wanted to be our number one.
Oh, do you reckon that's
number one international motor racing guy?
Is that the conspiracy?
Clip this up for social, Joe.
Yeah. What
has anyone looked into that?
Well, look, I think Scotty McLaughlin is not.
Does anyone see Gisbergen anywhere near that?
Oh, so you think it's a big cockfight
at the top? This is a great point.
It's a cockfight at the top. They're in the showers, and Scotty Dixon's in the showers, and along comes Liam Lawson, who's got a big, massive forey, but not much chop, and he's gone into the showers.
Just trying to get my head around this metaphor.
Scotty Dixon's like,
no, you've muttered the waters here.
No, not in here, mate.
Not in here, mate.
Not in here, mate. Give me a couple of years, then you can have a shot at the title.
Because there's all that talk that Sonoda, there's a whole lot of money turned up.
Yeah.
A whole lot of money turned up at Red Bull around the same time the decision was made. I think that there was a bit of a whip round amongst some of the other top Kiwi motorsports people, so they stayed as top dogs.
I don't know what a conspiracy it is. So how much was the money? Was it about $30? Like a whip around of New Zealand?
It was a $2 coin donation.
A signed jersey.
$1,200 is rocked up in a whole bunch of briefcases on the front porch of the Horn Dogs.
Scotty
place.
turns up and he's like, "Hey,
wouldn't
I
mind.
got $152. It says you swap out your
Nodi in there.
Yeah.
Well, Sonodi in there.
$122.50.
That's going to be great this weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm so looking forward to it. It's tonight.
Well, the qualifying or practice?
Practices tonight.
Yeah, I was so good.
Are you so deep that you'll watch practices?
I am a little bit, only because I want to see just how they're doing.
Yeah.
And how it's going to go. But I want them to beat Sonoda. That'd be so good.
People kept saying, I was listening to Mike Hosking Breakfast and he's saying, all these people texting in, I hope Sonoda hits the first corner. Explodes.
That's a bit.
And he was like, you can't say that. We don't wish bad on anyone. It would be funny, though, if he... I don't want him to die.
Overtaking him would be funny and giving him the fingers.
Yeah.
But I think...
But if all of his wheels just popped off...
Yeah. Innocently. I think giving the fingers, maybe not. I reckon if he went
past... He seems like a nice guy, actually.
But if he went past and just gave it the... just gave it the shucker...
So what would be the best? What finish for our boy?
Yeah,
Liam would make you happy.
Okay,
ahead of Sonoda.
Yeah, he's coming 11th. Yeah, the last 2 laps to go. Sonoda's 10th.
So takes points away from Red Bull.
And as he overtakes him on the second to last corner before the end, he goes woo, and goes cheer, bro, and just throws up the shucker out the window.
Takes points.
Because if Sonoda gets a DNF. It doesn't look as impressive, I think, on Liam Wilson's part.
I think he needs to beat him.
He needs to beat him.
That'd be so good.
Yeah, that's true. And that is great because it's just the difference between points and no points.
And if he went sayonara, motherfucker, as he went past him, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
All right, yours, please.
And then whipped a Neapolitan out there. As he's getting out of the car at the end, whips a Neapolitan out.
Just runs 3 fingers through the ice cream. Goes up to his grill of his visor and just runs it down his visor.
Suck on that. Here's 2 to go.
Yeah, g'day, lads. Look, the issue with any kind of spectator sport in the NZR is that while they continue to maintain, poorly paid slaves, the Super Rugby owners and the NZR and their precious All Blacks will not let any sort of game occur. Let's take it back to the heartland, to the NPC. Get the amateur players going.
Yep.
Fuck South Canterbury.
Yep. Agree on all points.
Yeah,
I think get rid of Super Rugby and just run the NPC and it'd be bloody great.
I think
and go back to the Canterbury tops.
Yeah, we've kind of gone round in circles on this because we're like, everyone says, oh, the draft system, it's for America, but we haven't got a feeder system that allows for a decent draft. Whereas I think almost NPC almost is that in an amateur sport that serves as a draft into, but you need a professional league as well.
Yeah.
Or are you saying potentially turn NPC professional and make club rugby the feeder?
It's an interesting point. I was talking to someone very high up in sport in New Zealand. I won't say who it is.
Dylan Cleaver.
Yeah. And he was Dylan Cleaver was saying, no, it wasn't Dylan Cleaver. But they were just saying that any sport
Murray
which
Helberg
puts the international game against above the domestic game always gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And the sport disappears. Because you look at NRL, it's the domestic game's bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
You look at NFL, MLB, everything. Yeah. So we've got this weird thing where we think we have to feed the All Blacks. It's a weird way to look at the sport. And we do because we've had so much success in it, right? But that's not a way that's not a way to have a healthy sport.
And they know it. It's not sustainable, and I think that's proving it.
I mean, you look at South Africans, they just let all their players play everywhere and then just bring them back together. They've got this huge pool of players all around the world playing at high level.
Just massive monsters.
Monsters. They let their monsters do whatever, and then they just put out the monster call.
Monsters Inc.
Monsters, and then the monsters come rushing around and they'll beat you by 1 point.
Yeah, Mike Wazowski and his mates.
But I mean, that is always going to be the problem. If we go, oh yeah, we're going to feed the All Blacks, we're going to go to blah, 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 I don't know.
Yeah, it's an eternal debate up there.
I bet an All Black in a run yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Run to where?
Yeah, you were saying on the commentary the other day you got a text halfway through from Kieran Reid. Yeah.
Yeah, so I flew down and he picked me up from the airport and took me out for a run.
Just for a run?
Around his property. He's got a good little setup there.
And you beat him. Was he like blindfolded?
See what happened is we ran 15k. And then
wow, good run, Matty.
10k. And then
10k.
Another 5 on top of that.
Okay.
It was 10k. Anyway. But see, he had to operate his gate. So we ran, we're at the same speed, and then at the last minute he had to put the coming back in, he had to put the key into the gate.
Yeah, this is good.
So I smoked him back to his house from there while he was getting through the gate. And took out a victory.
This sounds very familiar. There's something about this familiar. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like Queenstown half marathon, Joe Jury almost dying, you running ahead, taking the glory. Something doesn't sit right there.
I've got a picture of it.
Something doesn't sit right.
I got a picture of the finish line here.
Did he have
I've also got a picture of Joe Jury dead in hospital after that.
Did Kieran Reid have a clutcher? Oh no, he looks pretty. He looks in much better nick than you.
He looks less tired.
He looks like he's just got out of bed. You look like you have had some sort of sauna.
He's just warmed up.
Yeah.
He's now ready to crack into the working miles.
You can only, it's like a lot of running, right? The pace is set, right?
Yeah.
So you're not, you watch 800 metres or the strategy that you have in there. It's the same with the longer distances.
He had to put a key in his gate.
So you run, no, you had to pin key.
Pin key,
yeah. So you wait for your moment. So you're both running at the same speed, scared to see who's going to go ahead. And then someone sees the opportunity of someone having to open the gate. You slide through.
Well, no one usually goes ahead. If you go running with your mate, no one's running for the finish line.
Wow. Some of us are.
Shame on you.
Right, last one. Yours,
Shame on you.
Please.
Yeah, g'day, boys.
G'day, mate.
Love your work. Taking a jobby it's a bit of a Scottish term for taking a shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always say I'm off to bring the Americans into the war. Gonna go bomb Pearl Harbor.
Oh.
Love yous. Fuck yous.
Oh, yeah, because so we were talking about that on the commentary, weren't we?
Yeah, jobby.
Were you there, Mesh? You were.
For the bombing of Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
Or
No, the jobbies.
The jobbies.
Yeah,
you were there. Yeah, you were there.
Oh, that's right. No, and I wasn't familiar with it, no.
No, yeah.
But jobby is very Scottish, he's right.
Yeah, jobby.
Yeah, I left a jobby in there for you.
Yeah.
It's grown on me over the last couple of days. To the point where I think I might try it.
Yeah.
And what did he say?
So you say to your lovely girlfriend, Lauren, she goes, where are you going? I've got to do some jobbies.
Yep. And she'll go, oh, lovely, thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
That's going to be fun. I can't wait for doing it.
Because I always say to my kids, I'm going upstairs to your bathroom because I like to destroy their bathroom, not the one in my room.
Oh, that backfired on me the other day.
Did it?
Yeah, because I was destroying their toilet. And my 12-year-old going on, he's the same size as me, knocks on the door, opens the door, I'm going, I'm in here, and he goes, God damn you. And then he went upstairs and bombed ours. And his
bombed the ensuite.
His was way worse.
Yeah, right.
Way worse. And I had to go and brush my teeth. I was like, God, I feel like I was brushing my teeth in his ass.
Yeah.
Gross. What do you? He mentions there what he's going to bomb Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Is that what he was saying? I often say I'm going to go drop off the kids. I'm going to go drop the kids at the pool.
Do you ever sit on the? There's a saying like you get the Bombay doors. It's when you sit on the toilet so long that you get the doors around your butt that make it look like a Bombay for bombing Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
You get the Bombay doors.
Well, the pins
So
and
you got the
pins and
doors
needles.
for the.
What's worse is
Oh man, you stand up and you go careering into the sink because your fucking left foot's gone to sleep.
Or when the lights go, at work when the lights go out.
Oh, the lights have gone out of me so many times in that bathroom, and it's so humiliating.
Well, and it's like caving.
But do you know what's more humiliating? The lights go out,
You wait
and
for
then because you got to make a ruckus, and you can't get the lights back on from movement in the cubicle.
No, you have to get
You
it
have
out
to
of the
get out of the
cubicle.
cubicle.
So you have to shuffle out with your pants around your ankles, and you're in danger. You're very exposed at that stage because you're out of the cubicle waving your arms, and then at any moment someone can come in and you're there bent over, pants around your ankles, shitty ass still because you can't wipe your ass because it's pitch black. And in strolls the CEO.
The best thing is when the shoe's on the other foot, and you're lucky enough to be the person walking into the bathroom, and you think that no one's in there.
Yeah, because the light goes. Ping.
The light clicks on, and then just out of the corner you just hear a.
Oh no, I'm very thankful. It's happened
And
to me
you're
a
like,
few
what?
times.
Oh, there's someone in there just taking a mess.
Have you ever?
I was like, thank you.
Have you guys ever ridden 2 cycles? So. I've never. You have?
Yeah, I've spent some time in there.
I've never done 2 cycles.
2 cycles is too much.
So you get saved by a person coming in, saved by the bell, and then you get back into some heavy
Doom
scrolling on your thing, and it's happened again.
Back in my vaping days, I ran the double cycle once. Just sitting there vaping up a storm and scrolling
What is
through.
that
and stuff.
cycle? Is it 10, 15 minutes?
I think it's 10.
That's 20 minutes on the can.
I used to work for Pixie Campbell. I didn't want to come back in.
Fucking hell, that's Benai Stewart. His ethos is: do your hangover on the clock, do your dumps on the clock.
Well, the other day when we were commentating that game of cricket,
he went for a dump. Never returned
for I think it was 15 overs. He came out. It's like, the game's over.
He was probably stuck in there. That's why.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
probably
right.
pitch black. Anyway,
Can we get that cycle changed? I think we need to up it to an hour.
You want an hour? Yeah, I'll send a message to Jared L.
Well, you'd be pleased to know that once a quarter we get Seven a survey of, you can moan about work.
Yeah.
And things to improve.
You go, I need that toilet cycle to move from 10 minutes to an hour because I keep getting caught in the dark. I reckon you might get a little bit of a pushback on that from people that are paying you.
Well, yeah, they seem to fall for the tricks. Like, I think Jeremy Wells said that he didn't like the colour of the coffee cups. They're all black and white. There's no diversity. Have you seen the coffee cups now? Pink and blue and sky blue and baby blue and red.
Yeah, it goes the day is long. It's great.
Oh, yeah. So you just got to think in an angle. Maybe it's around...
What does Jeremy Wells do these days?
I think he's on Hosking's breakfast show. No.
Not a lot.
Because he used to do the Hodek breakfast.
Yeah, I think he still does.
Is that still a thing?
I think so.
Oh, it's a bit of a school project these days.
Is it?
Yeah.
That was a good drive-by.
It was.
Anyway... that's the agenda for today.
We've all worked on it.
We've all worked on it. So
I'm still on it.
It's a great show. I listened down in Christchurch, and they have a segment called Masterminds. Very good.
Oh, really?
Very dumb person on it.
So we've got commentary tonight, 7 o'clock. It's the Chiefs versus Reds on iHeartradio and Radio Hauraki, funny enough. And Saturday, we've got Blues Canes on Hauraki and iHeartradio at 7 o'clock. And also tomorrow, 11 a.m., the cricket, last game of cricket. Coverage brought to you that by Max Raft and Razine. Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming along, Matt.
Great to be here. Love you guys.
Love you, babes.
Love you guys. Are we happy with that?
No,
not really. Delete it.
Or definitely
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.